Something feels off. You're standing at the mirror with your hair freshly done, and it still doesn't look right. Not wrong exactly, just flat. Heavy. Something pulling in the wrong direction. You can't name it. That nameless feeling? It has a cause. And it's sitting right on top of your head. You are not someone who stopped caring. You pay attention. You try. That's precisely why this one thing is still quietly working against you every single day. Your hairstyle. The one you've been loyal to for years. Maybe subtracting 4 to 6 years of vitality from your face before you've said a single word. And the worst part? The fix is not complicated. It's a conversation with the right person, armed with the right information. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women so you get simple, proven transformations that work immediately. Today we're covering 5 outdated hairstyles making you look older. And by part 3, you are going to want to stop and look in the mirror. I mean it. Part 1 is the mistake I see on almost every woman I speak to. Part 2 holds a fix so clean it almost feels unfair that nobody says it out loud. Part 3 covers something a senior stylist told me she wishes she could say to every client before they sit down. Part 4 addresses the one textural detail most women over 50 get wrong without ever realizing it. And Part 5 brings the whole thing together with swaps so specific you can act on them tomorrow morning. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1, the helmet effect. Why round, stiff cuts are aging your face. You sat in that salon chair and said the same words you always say. Just clean it up. Keep the shape. Maybe you pointed at an old photo on your phone. And the stylist nodded. And now you are home, and it looks exactly the same as it always has, and somehow still not quite right. Here is what nobody is saying out loud. That round, close-cropped shape, the one that felt safe, the one that required almost no thought, is quietly framing your face like a helmet. And a helmet is not your friend after 50. This specific cut creates a horizontal visual line at the widest point of the head. And that line, right there just above your ears, is pulling the eye sideways and downward, flattening your cheekbones and adding easily 4 years to the way your face reads in any light, including photographs. Honestly, this is the one I wish someone had pulled me aside about years ago. The reason this mistake is the hardest to see on yourself is simple. You've been doing it so long it feels normal. The shape feels tidy. It feels managed. What it's actually doing is compressing your entire face into a width it doesn't need. Here is what replaces it. First, volume at the crown. Not teased, not sprayed into submission. Naturally lifted at the root, through the right cut, the right product applied to damp hair. And sometimes just the direction of your blow-dry. Volume at the crown draws the eye upward, which lengthens the face, lifts the cheekbones, and changes everything about how you read in a room. Second, movement at the sides. A cut that falls softly rather than hugging the curve of the head creates a completely different shape. Your face appears narrower. Your neck appears longer. Your jawline, which is still beautiful by the way, appears cleaner. That is what movement does. This is the one most women hear and immediately call their stylist. Third, consider length below the ear. Even a half-inch of length past the earlobe breaks the horizontal line. It softens the whole silhouette. That half-inch is doing quiet work you would not believe until you see it in a photograph. Swap the helmet-shaped, close-cropped round cut for a softly layered style with crown lift and side movement. You are not losing your sense of polish. You are keeping every bit of it, and adding something that was missing. Maintain this cut with a trim every 6 to 8 weeks specifically to preserve the layered shape. Layers collapse when they grow out. And when they collapse, the helmet returns. The next mistake I'm covering is the one that surprises people most. Most women think they're playing it safe. They're not. Part 2, the too long flat curtain. When length is working against you. Bold statement. Ready? Long hair is not automatically youthful. In fact, past a very specific point, it becomes one of the most aging choices you can make. There. That needed to be said. And I am guessing at least one of you just felt a little defensive about it. That's okay. So did I when I first heard it. When hair is very long, heavy, and without shape past the shoulder blades, it pulls the eye downward, directly toward the jawline and neck. And at 60 and beyond, downward is never the direction we want. This specific weight and length combination is dragging your beautiful cheekbones toward the floor and adding years to your face with every inch of flat, unlayered weight. Here is the surprising truth. Length is not the problem. Flatness is. Heavy, unlayered length creates what stylists call the curtain effect. A solid fall of hair that closes the face in rather than opening it up. Write this one down. The solution is not to cut it short. The solution is to cut it strategically. First fix, find the right length. For most women over 50, the ideal length lives somewhere between the collarbone and the top of the shoulder. Not shorter, not longer. Right there in that zone. It is the length that keeps femininity, keeps elegance, keeps the feeling of having real hair, while eliminating the weight that was pulling everything downward. Second fix, layers through the mid-length and ends. Not face-framing layers alone. Layers distributed through the body of the hair, so when it moves, it actually moves. Hair that swings when you turn your head is hair that looks alive. Alive looks younger. Always. Third fix, face-framing softness at the front. 2 or 3 longer, softer pieces angled toward the chin. Not wispy. Not overly thin. Just enough to draw the eye upward and inward. Back toward your eyes, your cheekbones, the structure that your face has always had. If you're still reaching for more length, swap the flat, unlayered hair past the shoulder blades for a collarbone-length cut with layers and face-framing softness. The difference will show in the very first photograph taken of you. For maintenance, use a lightweight smoothing oil on the ends every second or third day. It keeps the layers defined and prevents the flatness from creeping back in between cuts. What I'm covering next is something a senior stylist told me she wishes every woman knew before she sat down in the chair. That's next. Part 3, the mushroom cut. The shape that steals a decade. I watched a woman in a salon chair last week. Stunning bone structure, perfect posture. And one cut was doing all the wrong things to her face. She kept asking the stylist to just clean it up. She didn't know what she was actually asking for. She had a mushroom cut. And she didn't know it had a name. The mushroom cut is everywhere, and most of the women wearing it have no idea they're wearing it. It is the cut that balloons outward at the sides. Wide above the ears, wide at the temples, volume distributed horizontally where none of it should be. From the front, it widens the face. From the side, it creates a puffed-out silhouette that competes with your features rather than framing them. Here is what this cut is doing to your bone structure specifically. That horizontal width at the temples visually broadens the widest part of your face. Your natural elegance, the length from eye to chin, the line of your jaw, the way your features carry light. All of that gets buried under a shape that is working directly against it. This one is the most expensive mistake to ignore. The real reason this cut is so common is that it was genuinely stylish at a specific moment in time. And for women who found it then, it has become comfort. It feels familiar. It feels managed. What it no longer feels like is current. Or flattering. Yes, that simple. The replacement is a cut that redirects volume upward rather than outward. Here is what that looks like in practice. Swap the side ballooning mushroom for a cut with volume lifted at the crown, directed straight up rather than pushed outward at the ears. Your face appears narrower. Your neck appears longer. Your cheekbones, which have always been there, finally get the visual real estate they deserve. Add a side part if you're currently wearing a center part. A side part alone disrupts the symmetry that makes a mushroom cut so visually wide. One small shift. Immediate difference. This is the kind of tip a friend passes you privately before you walk out the door. Once you have the cut, maintain the vertical lift with a root lifting spray applied at the crown before blow drying. 2 minutes. Every single wash. That is all it takes to keep the mushroom from reforming. Part 4 has a fix so simple it almost feels unfair that nobody says it out loud. That's exactly why we're going there next. Part 4, over-thinned ends and razored texture. The detail draining your hair's youth. Have you ever left a salon feeling like something was slightly wrong? And not been able to explain what? The color looked fine. The shape seemed okay. But something about the ends felt thin. Wispy. A little defeated. Like the hair was giving up at the tips. What you may have been experiencing, without knowing its name, is overthinning. And it is quietly one of the most aging things that can happen to hair after 50. Here is what is happening at a structural level. Hair naturally thins as we age. The individual strand becomes finer. The density at the scalp reduces over time. When a stylist then applies a thinning shears or a razor to already fine hair, the ends become translucent, and translucent ends have no presence. No weight. No definition. They float rather than fall, and floating ends look fragile rather than full. This specific detail is draining the vitality from your hair in a way that no color, no cut shape, and no product can fully compensate for. Most women never hear this until the damage is already done. The fix? Blunt ends. And I say this with the energy of someone who wants to shake you by the shoulders gently. Blunt ends. A blunt cut, meaning the ends are cut straight across rather than thinned, razored, or feathered, gives the hair visual weight at the bottom. And visual weight at the bottom means your hair looks fuller, thicker, and more deliberately styled from root to tip. This is the one a friend of mine discovered after 20 years of wondering why her hair never looked as full in real life as it did in her imagination. One conversation with a new stylist. 3 words: please cut blunt. Her next photograph stopped her in her tracks. Swap the razored, over-thinned ends for a clean blunt finish across the bottom length of your cut. The difference reads in photographs in natural light, and in the mirror first thing in the morning. You will notice it within a week. Ask your stylist specifically to preserve weight at the ends on your next visit. Use those words exactly. Preserve weight at the ends. Some stylists then automatically as a habit. This small conversation changes the entire result. There is one thing about Part 5 that nobody in this space talks about. That's next. Part 5. The frozen fringe. When your fringe is adding years instead of subtracting them. A heavy, solid fringe, the kind that sits straight across the forehead in one flat, unbroken line, is one of the most seductive mistakes in hairstyling. It feels bold. It feels retro. It feels intentional. And for women over 50, it is consistently doing the opposite of what they hope it's doing. Here is the truth nobody says. A thick, blunt, horizontal fringe cuts your forehead in half. And cutting your forehead in half means cutting your face in half, which shortens your perceived face length, reduces the visual space above your eyes, and makes your whole face read as compressed rather than open. Your bone structure, those beautiful eyes, that natural elegance, deserves to be seen in full, not bisected, not cut short above a straight horizontal line that competes with everything above and below it. There is also a subtler problem that most women never know about. A heavy fringe sits on the forehead like a curtain rod. And as the skin above the brow softens naturally with age, that straight line draws attention directly to the area just above it, rather than drawing it upward and away. The frozen fringe is, without knowing it, pointing at exactly what you'd rather people look past. This one is everything. The replacement is not about removing the fringe entirely. It is about releasing it. First swap. Replace the heavy blunt fringe with a side-swept, feathered fringe that breaks the horizontal line and opens the forehead. A side-swept fringe draws the eye diagonally, and diagonal is always more dynamic than horizontal. It creates movement where there was stillness. It opens what was closed. Second swap. If you love the idea of fringe but need something lower maintenance, try a long curtain fringe, 2 soft sections parted gently at the center, falling on either side of the face. The curtain fringe does something remarkable to bone structure. It narrows the temples visually, elongates the face, and frames your eyes in a way that feels effortless and genuinely modern. Maintain a side-swept or curtain fringe with a trim every 4 to 5 weeks. Fringes grow out faster than you expect, and a fringe that has grown too long loses its shape, and simply becomes the curtain effect we talked about in Part 2. You now have 5 specific mistakes and 5 specific swaps. Use them. All 5. Starting with the one that made you pause longest while you were watching. You just learned 5 specific hairstyle mistakes that most women spend years working around without ever naming. And now you can name every single one of them. The helmet shape. The flat curtain length. The mushroom cut. The over-thinned ends. The frozen fringe. 5 problems. 5 exact swaps. Done in one sitting. Boom. Your bone structure was always this stunning. Now your hair is going to show it. Tell me in the comments. Which of these 5 hairstyles were you wearing without knowing what it was doing to your face? I genuinely want to know. Your answer might be the thing that helps someone else watching this right now. Next time, we're getting into the one accessory mistake that adds 10 years overnight, and it's not the one you'd expect. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.